The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Caldwell Fire Idaho, on your new Pierce Fire apparatus, job number 40740. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting first, just under the front bumper attached to the frame rail, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks. Moving on to the face of the front bumper, dual air horns on the passenger and driver side. Unit identifier E12 located on the face of the front bumper, and directly in the center you'll find your PA speaker and electronic siren. Moving up onto the bumper extension, the handle gains you access into the storage location for your front hose load. Moving over to the driver's side, top side, is where you'll find your mechanical siren. Let's move to the face of the truck, where you'll find on the outer edge a marker turn indicator light. Just inside that location, your headlights housing low and high beam headlights. High beam is located on the inside. Directly above that, emergency warning light cluster forward facing. As we move to the windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. Moving to the A pillar, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Up to the brow of the apparatus, there are 5 identification clearance lights located directly in the center, forward-facing floodlight. Moving up onto the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's go ahead and cover a few of those things close up here with the front bumper extension. On the side of the bumper extension, side-facing emergency warning light, part of the lower zone. Front discharge, which is foam capable. As we look inside, you'll find dry deck material and a swivel discharge on the rear wall. General view here of the side of the vehicle. Let's focus in on the cab section next, starting first with the front axle, where you'll find Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheel, and a visual sight gauge into the center of the axle. On the bumper extension, side-facing emergency warning light. Let's move into the step well on the driver's side, where you'll find an air inlet. As we move to the very rear cab area, this is the DEF fill location behind the cover. As we move to the front A pillar, this is going to be your marker turn indicator light. Easily accessible with gloved hands. These are the door lock and latch combination. They are keyed. Right next to that, you're going to find the grab handle for maintaining 3 points of entry into the cab area. Directly over the front axle is where you'll find your auto eject for your shoreline power, and right next to that, a side-facing emergency warning light, part of the lower emergency warning lights. At the very top of the cab, you'll find a side-facing scene light. Next to the midsection, we'll come back to this area in detail when we talk about the pump section. Let's move to the body now, where you'll find wheel chuck storage location. The wheel chocks are stowed in front and rear of the axle. Directly in front of the rear axle, marker turn indicator light. Additional storage on both front and rear axle area with an emergency warning light over the rear axle. As we move up to the top section of the body, you'll find emergency warning lights side facing, and then 2 scene lights located in the upper portion also. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. We'll identify a few items within this space. First, starting with at the top, emergency warning light cluster. You'll have emergency warning, brake, turn, and reverse light. You'll also find 2 cupped switches located here. We'll talk about those in a few moments. Emergency warning lights, there are 4 located here, one on the passenger and one on the driver's side pair. Also, rear-facing scene lights on both passenger and driver's side. Fold-down steps for gaining access to go aloft into the hose bed area. Also, we have a 2.5-inch discharge and a direct tank fill. Recessed backup camera, and then on the right side in the image, you'll find a D handle gains you access into your ladder storage location. Full view here of the passenger side. Let's move into the body section. Same configuration and layout. This is the side your exhaust comes out. As we move forward to this location to the pump panel, once again, we'll come back to this section in just a few moments when we cover the pump panel area. Moving to the cab, same configuration and layout. Let's go ahead and move now into the driver's space. We'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, you'll find all of our safety and warning placard information. Just up from that, a combination door lock and latch combination. Moving up, you'll find window controls for all 4 cab windows, and then also a grab handle. Let's move down into the stepwell area. You'll find an air inlet. Just inside this location, general view, we'll start at the base of the seat. This is where, when plugged into Shoreline Power, your auto charge will display battery status. About the right ankle of the operator, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, VIN number, all of the fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. This also has the date of manufacture. On the floor, you'll find a mechanical siren foot pedal about the left knee of the operator, where you'll find your master battery switch. Just to the right, the engine, transmission, ABS, J1939 diagnostic port for your maintenance team, and then also your ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, regen inhibit. As we move to the right side of the steering column, this is your pump shift. There are instructions to move from road to pump, and then also instructions from pump to road. Just as a reminder, 2 green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump, are needed for pump operations when exiting the cab. The steering wheel is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag, and then also has steering controls here for windshield wipers, and then also you'll find your air horn located in this space. As we move to the left of the dash, you'll find the start ignition switch. Just to the right, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency warning lights. Headlights on and off, and also a switch labeled panel, which allow you to brighten or dim lights within preview of the operator. To the right, OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch. On the dash gauges, you have transmission, oil, def, and water temp. To the right, volts, fuel, front air, rear air. In the center, you'll find the tachometer and the speedometer directly in the center. Tally information with lights will display above and below the vehicle speedometer and tachometer. In the very center section, you'll have an additional digital display here providing information. Let's move just to the right and slightly downward, where we'll find in the lower right-hand corner next to the pump shift your flat mirror and convex mirror control. Moving back up to the top, you'll find a display for your backup camera. Just down from that location is your siren control and PA speaker module. Further down, you'll find some switches. We'll start on the left with an engine brake on and off switch, settings for low, medium, and high, air horn, electric horn select, tire change, which is a protected switch on the tire chain, mirror heat, and load manager. Just down from that, you'll find the pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. It's the yellow diamond which controls the spring brake at the rear. Allison transmission pad, digital readout, push button with an informational note to pump in drive. Let's look just to the right of this location, where you'll find climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Also moving to the right, you'll find your radio push to talk push button. Further to the right, you'll find additional warning placards identifying spare wiring behind the panel. Please do not remove until your maintenance team has had an opportunity to review. Moving further to the right, 12-volt access via barrel style and USB, in addition with a siren brake for your mechanical siren. Off to the officer side, this is the radio push to talk, and as we look overhead, you'll find this yellow placard over the driver's space. Starting first with the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 2 inches, length 31 feet, 10.5 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 46,500 pounds. If you make any changes to your vehicle that may affect any of these, please update this placard. Moving to the right to the switch panels where you'll find your emergency warning light switches. First, starting on the left, a master emergency light switch, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. Moving just to the right, an additional switch panel for high beam flash, front scene, driver scene, passenger scene, and rear scene. When any of these switches have been activated, the green light will illuminate, indicating switch status and light operation. To the right, the traffic advisor module. As we look to the center section, this is where you'll find your seatbelt information. Red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted. Green, they're in the seat and belted. Also, if this light is flashing, it's indicating do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment or door open. This is also in the general vicinity of your air conditioning unit, which is overhead. Moving to the rear, where you'll find two fold-down forward-facing seats and an EMS compartment directly in the center. As we move behind the driver's seat, when plugged into shoreline power, this outlet will be active, engaging your battery charger. Let's move to the exterior now, where you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject. Moving down to the wheel, where you'll find Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheel. Moving now to the rear portion of the cab area, let's go ahead and move inside this space. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, electric window control, and a grab handle. As we look inside, you'll find push on or off red or white lens lights, two rear-facing seats which do house SCBA brackets. These are the two fold-down seats on the outer edge. And just behind the officer and driver seat at the ceiling level is where you'll find additional storage. In the center, you'll find a access panel for your checks for oil and transmission. Inside the EMS compartment, we have two adjustable shelves, LED lighting also, and at the very top of the compartment, you'll find when plugged into shoreline power, these two outlets will be active. In addition, you have a 12-volt bus bar. To the rear of the officer seat, you'll find a 12-volt bus bar located here with grounding. Moving to the outside edges of the cab rear, you'll find two fold-down seats, one on the passenger and one on the driver's side. Also, David Clark headset system. Let's go ahead and move back to the exterior on the driver's side, where you'll find the fill location for your diesel exhaust fluid, DEF. It is the blue cap. Now moving to the pump panel area. We'll start first with the crosslays. There are 2.5 inch crosslays located in the upper section, crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. To the rear portion, you'll find a 2.5 inch crosslay. All three of these are foam capable. We'd like to point out a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. Because those lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. As we move to the pump panel, in the gray area, you'll find your master intake and master discharge gauges. In between the two of those are the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. Your pump panel is clustered. We have a front discharge, crosslay 1, crosslay 2, and the 2.5 inch crosslay together, in addition with the deluge discharge. Moving further down next to the Pierce logo is where you'll find your placard in regards to pump testing. We'll go over that in a moment. Also, the number 2 passenger and number 1 driver side 2.5 inch discharges, along with the passenger side large diameter discharge. Moving back to the pump test placard, indicating for test pressures at 150, 200, and 250 psi. For each of those test pressures, the GPM is located on the left-hand side of the plaque, and the right-hand side has the RPM. While in test mode, there was a governed speed of 2050. Moving just to the right of this location, back to the top in the gray module, this is your pressure throttle governor. Right next to it, you'll find an audible alarm speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate to either increase or decrease sound. Also next to the switch panel, you'll find an indicator for OK to pump if you've engaged your pump properly. Down in the discharges, we have a driver rear discharge, foam capable, and then also your tank fill and recirculating line. Moving just to the right is where the engine cooler is located. This is a twist, not a pull. And as we move down, we do have a water level gauge in the blue module. Additional warning placard here regarding fall hazard. When climbing on or off the vehicle, please face the vehicle while doing. Down at the very bottom, you'll have your tank to pump, and then right next to that is the fire pump primer, push to prime, air prime. At least 1,000 RPMs for priming mode for best practices. As we move down in the lower section, you'll find this warning placard indicating that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. The number 1 driver's side 2.5-inch discharge, along with an additional warning placard indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Moving to the right, you'll find the Pierce logo, American flag, Eagle. This is your large diameter pump inlet. And then just to the right, an additional placard indicating the type of pump that you have, which is a Watrous. On that placard, it will identify the pump model, which is a CSU, and then also the capacity, 1,500 GPM. On the very bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. To the right, you'll find the driver's side auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via the ball valve female inlet. Moving just to the right, you'll find your main pump drain, and then below that is the manual pump shift. Let's look to the running board on this side, where you do have a cutout in this section for hose storage, Velcro tie downs, and dry deck material. As we move now into the body section, adjustable shelving, a pull-out tray in the lower portion, floor-mounted release mechanism located on the right-hand side. LED lighting on both right and left sides of the compartment. As we move to the over wheel compartment, you'll find SCBA bottle storage, 3 located just in front of the rear axle, retaining straps. Moving to the rear, Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheel. Back up to the rear of the axle, you'll find 2 SCBA bottle storage location here, and then also your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location, which is the silver cap. Moving to the rear compartment, adjustable shelves, and also a pull-out tray. This is a through compartment or pass-through, meaning it goes from the driver's side to the passenger side. All compartments open now in a general view. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus and identify a few items within this space. First, let's cover the rear scene lights and hose bed lights. They're in these cup switches on the driver's side rear. At the very top, you have a traffic advisor. As we move down to the lower portion of the hose bed, you'll find a warning placard here regarding fall hazard. When climbing on or off the vehicle, always face it. Also a fall hazard warning, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. A recessed backup camera located in the center. Moving just to the right, a few more additional information. Direct tank fill, 2.5-inch. As we move down, pressure warning hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. And then just to the right, an entanglement warning. Because of those lines coming from a loft, there is the possibility of entanglement. As we move down to the bottom, compartment roll-up door located in the base. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll find ladder storage, 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof, 10-foot attic, and two pike pole long-handled tool storage locations. As we move around to the passenger side, 2 shelves and a pull-out tray. Release is going to be located on the right-hand side of that lower section. As we move to the overwheel compartment, upper section does have an adjustable shelf. In the lower portion, we have 3 SCBA bottle storage locations. Back down to the axle now, once again, Goodyear tires and Alcoa wheels. Let's move back up to the upper right-hand side here of the overwheel compartment, where you have additional 3 SCBA bottle storage location. I would like to point out extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operations. Please ensure you park your vehicle in a safe location when conducting a regen. As we move to the next compartment, adjustable shelf and also a pull-out tray in the lower portion, release located on the lower right-hand side of the tray. Let's go ahead and move into the pump panel area next. As we start at the very top with the cross lay, same configuration and layout, 2 1.5" in the front and a 2.5 to the rear, all three foam capable. We do have some warning placards here regarding fall. Once again, face the vehicle while climbing on and off, and then also warning pressure hazard. Just inside the pan door, this is the foam drain location and inspection area. As we move to the lower portion of the pump panel, it's where you'll find an additional inspection. This is access here to the relief valve and also set screw. Just to the right of this location, Pierce logo, American flag, eagle. This is your large diameter inlet. To the right of that, you're going to find the large diameter passenger side discharge, and then also the number 2 passenger side discharge. Down in the lower right-hand corner, we're going to find our cab lift operation module. Their instructions for its raising of the cab and also lowering of the cab. I would like to point out some danger and caution information, and please ensure all items are secure in the cab prior to raising. Down at the lower portion, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Also an additional cutout in the running board here for additional hose storage. As we move inside the cab area, just pointing out first that we do have some warning and safety placards located on the door panel. Door lock and latch combination, electric window control, and a grab handle. As we move inside the space, you'll find push on and off white or red lens lights at the roof level, your air conditioning unit, and then also directly behind the officer and driver's seat, additional roof storage area. Back to the front axle, you'll find Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheel, and a visual sight gauge into that center axle area. As we move into the officer space, once again affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, window control, and grab handle. Let's move into the space of the officer area. Overhead, push on and off white or red lens lights. Also an activation lanyard for your air horn. The vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag, and that's indicating the warning regarding mounting any equipment within this area. On the A-pillar, you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. And then also at the floor level to the left is where you'll find a foot paddle. This will control the mechanical siren located on the front bumper. Quick shot here of the fill location also to the right, and then warning information regarding your SRS airbag system. Under the driver's seat is where you'll find an additional storage location, officer seat, and then also the officer seat is equipped with an SCBA pack. Overhead in the officer space, we have a few blanks here for future use. I would like to point out the red and white candy cane labels. This is indicating spare wiring behind these areas. They're identified by the option number. Please keep those in place until your maintenance team has had an opportunity to review. We're now moving to the top of the cab where you'll find this is a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these placards located here indicating that warning. As we move into the crosslay and dunnage area next, these are the 3 crosslays. As we move into the dunnage space, this is where you'll find your master stream device. Top fill locations for the water and foam tank. On the foam tank, we do have a warning placard here indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. As you move toward the rear of the apparatus, on the passenger and driver side, you'll find hatch compartments. There are 2 on the left and 2 on the right side. There's LED lighting and also dry deck material inside this space. As we move to the hose bed area, you'll find 2 hose bed dividers. The next set of images is that of the engine and chassis and under components. Let's first start with the front of the vehicle. The 2 tow hooks located here are not intended for towing the vehicle. These are for fireground operations. When tilting the cab, ensure once the cab is fully raised, install the safety bar into position. Do not lower the cab onto the safety bar. Maintain equal pressure on both left and right cylinders. Your vehicle is equipped with a TAC4 independent front suspension. As we look to the engine components, at the very top section you'll find the fill location for your radiator. There also is a radiator recovery here for fluid. Do not fill this radiator recovery. You'll also find power steering, visual sight gauge into that space, and then also the yellow is your dipstick for your engine oil, and the red is the dipstick for your transmission. As we move along the driver's side frame rail, this is the location of your battery both on passenger and driver's side. But on the driver's side, you'll find at the base of the battery box your termination points for jumper cables for positive and negative. Moving underneath the vehicle, you'll find tire chains, moving around to the rear of the vehicle, you'll find two tow hooks, one on the left and one on the right frame rail. Congratulations, Caldwell Fire Department, Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.